G'day, guys. Welcome back to SuperCoach with DR and welcome to the round two review. Hope you had a ripping week yourself. Look, for me, it was a round of celebrations, had the big Dogger and Butters score, and then a round of commiserations. Had Nick Caulfield go down. That's my third defensive rookie this year, Gipkiss, Reed, and Caulfield. So a little bit of bad luck there, but at the same time, all three we selected with durability issues. We knew this when we got them into our sides, and I did say it didn't really worry me due to the fact that they're rookie price, but it still does hurt at the end of the day, and I'll certainly need to fix that this week. So a few holes in the side at the moment, but again, I don't think that there's a perfect side out there. Some are looking pretty close at the moment, but it is a long season, so whatever rank you are at the moment, don't let it worry you too much. There is a lot of movement to go on. So for me personally, 2024 for the round rank, not too bad in a best 18. 22,613 for a season rank. Again, much better than where I was sitting at this stage last year. So I'm looking at this with a glass half full approach, but I'll talk about my trades in a little bit. I'm going to keep this one really short as well because the SuperCoach stock market video is back for 2024. This will be the biggest stocky of the year, in my opinion. It's the week where many prices are about to go up. So this is one that you want to watch. So stay tuned for that. That's why I'll keep this one pretty short. And it is late and I've got school pretty early tomorrow. So that's it for the intro, guys. As I said, hope you're well. Let's see how the team is actually looking. All right, now before I take you through this abysmal looking defensive line, I better quickly tell you about the trades that I made last week. And yes, I did use a boost. It was a bit of a last minute thing. It didn't work out, but the original trades that I was looking to make out Gipkiss, he had to go. Obviously, gone for the season. Bad luck to young man, but it was the option to go up to Massimo or get a midfielder in. Because remember, when the Gipkiss news came through, I started Dacos in the midfield, which would then allow me to bring a midfielder in for Gipkiss. And I did decide to do that. I didn't have enough money to do just a straight trade to do this, but it ended up being Gipkiss for McKercher. Silly me for not starting him, but I did recognize that very early on, and he came straight into the side. So Gipkiss out, McKercher in, but I did need a little bit of cash to facilitate that. So out went Zach Fisher, and in came Jack Billings. Now, I had a little bit more coin in the bank, and I thought, look, in order to make a few more moves next week, I'd love to get a little bit more cash in the bank. What can I look to do here? And then I thought, well, here's a bit of a master stroke. I'd floated this in the mini stock market that I did last week, and it was a Jesse Hogan move. Now, I'd lost faith in Nick Martin. I thought this bloke is in no man's land. He's most likely going to sit between a top, let's just say 12 to 20 defender if he gets DPP status, which I'm almost guaranteed that he will. And in regards to a midfield option this year, he's just going to be absolutely nowhere near it. So I thought, here I go. I could make a bit of a quick play here. If I trade in Jesse Hogan, then I'm making about 70K by doing that down from Martin. I'm using DPP, obviously. And then hopefully he's going to go up 70 to 80K. So in other words, that could be almost a 140K flip and then look to flip Hogan straight away. Unfortunately, it just was not Hogan's day, and I'll get to him in a little bit. But they were my three trades anyway. Used the boost. Probably shouldn't have in the end, and it did cost me a little bit. But let's get to this terrible defensive line. Now, Nick Dacos with a 54. Wow, it just wasn't his day, and hindsight's a wonderful thing, but I was telling you, wasn't I? I'm not going to start Nicky D. I was gloating about starting him, though, last week. A week's a long time in football, though, and this was just absolutely shocking. So, again, I'll get to this in the stock market video. Some may even look to trade him out this week. I'm not, but others may. We'll talk about him in the stocky. Sheasel, he's going to be a wonderful pick. Look, if you don't have him, I think he's a wonderful trading option. For example, if you did start Hayden Young and you didn't start Harry Sheasel, he's going to be a fantastic pick. After 130 last week, a 113, fantastic role, playing for North Melbourne. We know he's going to get a lot of the pill. They look for him. He's the main distributor, so make sure that he's in your side sooner rather than later. Absolute jet is Harry Sheasel. And talk about Hayden Young. Well, I was thinking a midfield jet coming into this year, but we are just not getting it. Clanger City, I don't know how many clangers it's been within a 2-week period, but it would not be happy reading. He's giving free kicks away, just butchering the ball. The role just really isn't there for me. He's just not one of their main midfield cogs, it doesn't seem. So he's in no man's land as well. And I think that he is close to a must trade out this week because he's projected, and this is just the SuperCoach Gold, to go down 40k this week. And I just don't think that I can afford that in my side early on. I think that I'd rather just jump on another option that's most likely looking to go up in cash or at least hold price. I don't think he's likely to be a top 6, 8, 10, 20 defender the way that he's going at the moment. So super, super disappointing. He was one of my preseason locks. I don't know what's happened to him, but I think we've got to get him out of the side. Howes with a 68. Perfect. He's made a lot of coin already for us. He'll continue to do that as long as he stays on the park and gives us these sort of 65 plus scores. And I think he's capable to do that. So he's one that I'm confident to field at the moment. But he's pretty much the only one because when you take a look at the next two picks, Hoare and Caulfield, well, Hoare did come on as a sub, played half a game. So 12 in half a game certainly isn't fantastic reading. But there is a positive to this pick. Unfortunately for Melbourne, they did have a couple of major injuries. One was Stephen May. I don't know what the timeline is here. The other one was Jake Lever. So with those two blokes out, surely this bloke's job security in the short term anyway has to be rock solid. Now, it's an awkward one as an owner. You obviously just keep. But if you're looking to bring in a defensive option this week and you've already got a Massimo and you need to get someone that's cheap, do you go him? It's really tough because he started as a sub, but at the same time, that job security should now be pretty solid with those two injuries, in my opinion anyway. So he's a bit of a wait and see, but didn't do much for me. And it was lucky that this was a best 18 week. In a non-best 18 week, when I'm running with a 12 and a 3 from Nick Caulfield, that's an absolute killer. And with Caulfield, super unlucky, very early on the contest, a shoulder injury, just looked pretty innocuous to me, but we know what his durability is like. This is super unfortunate. Originally, I wasn't going to start him. It was that Husway domino effect, but can't blame anything. You know, it is what it is. But I think we've got to trade him out of the side now. We've got Reed already. It looks like I'm just going to hold on to him, hopefully back in 4 to 5 weeks. And then I've got Zach Williams, who will come onto the field this week. So certainly not pretty reading in the defensive line at the moment. What I'll quickly do here is just get Zach Williams on for Caulfield there. And that's how I'll be going in this week. All right, on to the midfield. So Bont, a 136. Beautiful from Bont. Now, this was an interesting game. Smashed it in the first half. Overall kicked a couple of goals. Tons up with possessions. But he did look a little bit sore. There were a couple of incidents. Had a little incident with his ankle. I think it got caught under him in a toot tackle. And then a bit of a knee issue. He was getting his knee checked out. So there were some uncharacteristic turnovers from kicks from Bont in the second half. So that was slightly concerning, but kicked a ripper of a goal out of a stoppage. Lovely snap there. So there were times where he thought, yes, he looks fine. And then he's labouring a little bit. So hopefully he'll be fine. You know, that he just plays through injuries, Bont, and he'll still score well. We did pay up a lot for him, but we're paying up for quality. And I did take his VC score of 136. Look, I was very tempted to go with Tom Green playing West Coast, but I thought, nah, you got to play this smart. You're not going to give up 136. And I would have got an extra point if I had have done that. And on Tom Green, what a beast that this bloke is. At the start, he had about 20 odd points for 4 possessions. And I thought, wow, here we go. Could be a 200 plus here because he should get 30 plus easily on the day, but wasn't the case in the end, but still 137. He's averaging over 140 for us. He is an absolute beast. He is one of the most elite midfielders in the competition. And again, he should be certainly in top 5 for midfield averages. Love owning Tommy Green. Got the bye this week, which is unfortunate. My original plan was to flip him. There is no chance, absolutely no chance that he's leaving my side. I'm going to keep on to him. And luckily, I think I've got some coverage that can at least give me a half decent score this week for him anyway. Now, Zachy Butters, 175. I did have some cold feet for maybe a week and a half, but after speaking with the great JB from Dr. SuperCoach when he came on for the port review, he said he spoke to Butters and that ankle was fine. After that, I thought, yep, let's lock him into the side. And geez, I'm glad I did it. A 175. This is absolutely fantastic. Really hurts if you didn't have him. I think his ownership was at about 40%, before that injury, went down to around the 20 mark. So for the 20% that jumped off, unless you went to, say, a sarong or maybe a green type, you'll be hurting at the moment. But this bloke is an absolute jet. We knew that he was looking for a good score, particularly playing Richmond. Lots of people, my man Roscoe, I know, for example, did chuck the seat on him this week and duly rewarded for that faith and for the research as well. So shout out to Roscoe and Jonathan, my boys from the third man up. I didn't have had him as a captain, but at least I'm an owner of Zach Butters. So a phenomenal pick, got a great buy. This is definitely a bloke that you want to own in this side. Ollie Wines, now this one is a really awkward pick. Average, 96.5. So I think it was a 94, a 99, almost triple figures. But I don't love the role. I don't love the time on ground. He doesn't look overly fantastic. I think he's a bit of a nothing pick here. Someone that's just going to hover around the price. And you've got rookies like your Roberts, your McKerches, your Sanders that can most likely match him for scores on a weekly basis. Now, when I say that, I'm expecting Wines to average more. He's that mature body. These rookies will certainly fluctuate, I think, but I don't think there's going to be a huge difference. And if you look at the price difference currently, it isn't fantastic. He's not a disaster pick. I would call him a little bit of a failure at the moment because I did have Matt Crouch in there for a lot longer, a bit of a last-minute pick, and I did have enough cash in the bank to actually start with Crouch over him. So that does hurt me a little bit, but it is what it is. He's not the greatest concern in my side. James Jordan with an 88. That's fantastic. He's gone up with some good coin. Do you flip him at the buy? Possibly. We'll see how he goes the next couple of weeks, but he's doing exactly what I want him to and probably a little bit more, to be honest. Matty Roberts is doing much more than I was expecting, a 94 now. I do need to give a shout out to H. Causer and Jono in the members chat that I've got on Insta with the boys there. Originally, I was looking to start Berry and they said, nah, go with Roberts. He's the likely one this week. So I decided to bench Berry, chuck the E on him. Thought just in case he goes well, might be able to do something there. But Roberts was the pick at the end of the day. Phenomenal from him. He's close to an absolute must-have rookie. Unfortunately, if you don't already own him, and in the stocky we recommended jumping on him last week, he has gone up in price already, so it's a little bit tough to jump on now. 225K, possibly. I think the ship has already sailed. Now, McKercher, phenomenal, and really glad I brought him in. The other option I was looking at was Jack Carroll. So I thought, look, if Berry goes really well as that emergency, I'll probably get Carroll in and get McKercher next week. But I sort of came to my senses there, and the decision was made easier with Berry giving me a bit of a dud score. But I thought, why didn't I start him? He looked elite last week and probably even better this week, I think. And the score reflected that with a 95. And great to be able to have that on field as well. So wrapped with the McKercher pick, and you've just got to get him if you don't already have him. I was nuts not for starting this bloke. Sanders with 99. Glad I kept the faith. Now, it was a little bit of a risk given the fact that Bevo is the coach and he subbed him last week. But my man Causa did remind me that there's been a bit of a pattern of different blokes being subbed on and off each week. So I don't think there's been too many blokes, if any, that have started as a sub twice or come off as a sub twice. That's been the pattern for most of the games anyway in the first few weeks. So shout out to you, Causa, for that. Kept the faith with Sanders, over Reed, over Clark, obviously, as well, and was rewarded with a 99. He actually went over triple figures as well, but then just had a bit of a clanger at the end. But yeah, those rookies with Roberts, McKercher, and Sanders on field, absolutely stoked with that. Berry is just super disappointing. Now, I did see him, I think there was a stop in play and there was a bit of a huddle of players, and the camera sort of panned out and I saw Berry just sprinting to the bench, and I thought, here we go, this bloke's actually going to get subbed out. And that was the case. Super unfortunate here. Now, again, it's not a complete disaster pick because if you hold him, he should make a little bit of coin next week, and then you might even flip into a Sam Darcy using some DPP. And wasn't he phenomenal? Make sure you listen to some notes about him on the stock market. I'm actually going to go a week early this week, not trade him in, but actually including him in the stocky because he deserves a fair bit of discussion. He was phenomenal. But the issue with Berry, and I haven't seen this before with the player because I was watching obviously super closely, but he gets first hands to ball a lot, or at least gets contested possession, but he just does not dispose of the ball. He always gets tackled. He always gets caught, and it is so super, super frustrating. He's fumbly as well. He's not tackling enough. So I just don't like the pick, not going well. I will get out of this pick very soon, whether or not it's this week or the next week. yeah, I'll have to wait and see. We'll talk about that in the trade plans. Harley Reid actually started off the game really, really well. And the cheers for this bloke in his first home game, wowee. They've talked about so many back page headlines with this bloke before he's even played a senior game. And I think that he will certainly deliver. How much will average this year? I'm not overly sure, but very highly owned player. It's just a matter of, do you start him or do you bench him from week to week? We'll just wait and see in the matchups and how other rookies go. But yeah, happy to have Harley Reid on the side. And Jordan Clark, originally I was thinking of trading him out in regards to a boost this week, but with the news, sorry, this is last week coming into this week, but with the news that, you know, Bruin was injured, Duncan was out, Atkins was out, I thought we've got to keep on to this bloke. And now I'm pretty sure Danger is out for at least 4 weeks. So that's good things for his job security. And I think it was about 3 minutes into the second quarter, or even was it 3 minutes to go in the first quarter? I'm not too sure, but he'd already passed his score from last week. So a 60 isn't setting the world on fire, but much better than the 13. And he'll start to make some coin, albeit I think he'll be a bit of a slow burn. Into the rucks, so Maxi Gorm with the 113. Yep, cool for Maxi. Not much to say there. Very highly owned player. It is what it is. No Tim English type scores. And tell you what, very scary not owning Tim English. I knew it would be coming into this week, coming up against bloody Ned Moyle. But this week, coming up against the Eagles with Barnett and BJ Williams, my goodness, this is going to be a very, very scary non-own. Livingston coming in handy as a captain, took the Bond VC, and Grundy with a 99. So really interesting. For me, he sort of ended the game a lot better than what he started the game. There was one point in time in the last quarter where he really pushed up hard forward, and I think he was on the lead. The kick wasn't great, but got it below his knees. Quick fire handball. I think it was a Hayward snap for goal. So that was really nice. Bit of energy in there. And he did start to improve. There were things that I did like about the game, but overall, I really don't like this pick. He has made a little bit of coin, given the fact that he had that round zero score of a 140 odd. But now that's out of his price cycle, his break even should be around the 115, 113 mark. So do you get out of the pick now? I think if you haven't got any more pressing issues, then you could. If there's some way you could get up to an English this week, then I think that would be a really good move. Could you go down to Sherry? It's a possibility. But the only thing I don't love about that is the fact that, well, he's obviously not going to be a keeper, and you're going to have to use another trade to get him out again. And will he actually make enough coin for that to be a worthwhile move? I'm really not too sure. And again, this is coming from someone that boosted Jesse Hogan. What a failure that was. But yeah, we'll talk about Granny in the stock market anyway. Onto the forward line, Dogger Jackson. Now, talk about a complete game. The bloke did absolutely everything and so close to 100% efficiency. I think there was literally one disposal that was ineffective. I think it was mid-20s in total. Impacted the scoreboard, contested marks, hit outs, great athleticism, below his knees. He is by far the number one ruck at Freo. I tell you, even when Big Shrek comes back, tell you what, play Shrek forward. Play this man in the ruck, because at times he is unstoppable. And I must admit, the pick has worked out so much better than what I originally thought. I went him over Flanders, and look, at the end of the day, I just couldn't go Dogger, Heaney and Flanders. I wanted 2 out of the 3. I did want 3, but I think I went with the right 2. Flanders is a phenomenal pick in his own right, but if you look at the 3 as a whole, then I don't think you can deny that I've made the best decision out of the 3 here anyway. He just did everything you want to see, and the break even's going to be low. He'll be able to cover during those buys. If you hold on to Grundy, certainly be able to cover for Gorn. Even when Shrek's back, I think that they'll play him a little bit more forward, given the fact that he is coming back from injury. I don't think Shrek's time on ground will be fantastic anyway. We'll reassess the Dogger pick then, but by that stage, he'll have made a ton of money, given us some fantastic scores, and he's been one of my best starting picks so far. Touch wood, he keeps this going. But well done, Dogger. Absolutely fantastic game from him. Heaney with a 128. So the form just continues with this man. This has actually been his lowest score, but I think it was his highest disposal count. Look, just as good as what he did the first couple of weeks. And to be honest, I think that he will be leading the Brownlow with 9 votes. He could get another 3 votes for this game, and he could be smashing it. I'm not a betting man, you know that, but Isaac Heaney, Huawei, again, similar to Dogger, the man just did everything. Impacted the scoreboard as well, contested possessions, tackles, what a pick he is. And again, I think he's probably one that we could even hold on to. I was viewing him as a quick flip early on, but not anymore. Love Isaac Heaney's selection. Oh, Jesse Hogan. This could have actually been, now I know it's a 66, but literally nothing went right for this bloke. Came into the game 10 goals too, so had the kicking boots on. Wouldn't you believe it? His first set shot for goal literally didn't even make the distance. Then it was a behind, finally gets a goal. Then got another goal. I think it was with 3 minutes to go in the last quarter, but there were drop marks. There were so many times where this bloke got burnt as well. I think it was Harvey Thomas. Brent Daniels burnt him on multiple occasions. It just did not go well. But I tell you what, if things just had have turned his way for this game, then it could have easily been a nice 100+ score. So that was a play from me. Get a nice 100+ score, make 70K, and then be able to trade him to Steele with the funds that I've got this week. I don't think it's going to work out like that now. So it was a bit of a silly play, I know. But the other thing I was thinking is that if he gets, say, a 130 type score, and hey, why not after he's gone 100+ against Collingwood and a 165 last week, that I may even keep on to him during the bye, make another 40-odd K, and then look to flip him. So there was a potential to make 120 to 130K with this pick. I just don't think that that's going to happen now. So super unfortunate there. And the other reason why I did make this move as well is that I thought with low scores like your Dacos and your Young, highly owned premiums, I need just another monster type score to really set myself apart from the pack. And, could Hogan be this man? I thought that he could have been. Unfortunately, not in the end, but it was similar to a Tom Berry play. Did he probably average out about the same amount of coin there? Maybe, but with a Berry type play, I was thinking the same thing with Hogan. Those that were looking just flip Berry for a week, but the difference between that and Berry was the fact that I was hopefully going to get a massive score. Didn't work out in the end. It is what it is. Very unfortunate for me. Also unfortunate Nat 5. Now, I pretty much knew going into this game, talked to my man Damo and Dan Frio, tragic, great Frio man, that he would be subbed. Now, Damo had literally spoken to Longmuir about this, so we knew that this was coming, but I was still happy to do this even with 3 quarters. So pretty much played out how I was expecting. However, there's a little bit of news that he also had some back soreness, and that also was part of the reason why he was managed and subbed out of the game. I thought it was coming anyway, and I'm pretty sure that it was, but that is not good news with Nat 5. So something just to keep an eye on, but 69 points in 3 quarters is fine. Did 100 the week before. This should be fantastic as long as his body is good. I don't think he's going to be subbed out. I think he's got at least 4 or 5 games ahead of him. These are full games, so that should be a good sign. But don't take my word for it. This is just a bit of a gut feel. Now, Billings are brought into the side after 119 last week. The good thing is that he's got an even friendlier break even this week, so he'll go up a little bit more in coin. However, he was playing pretty wide during this game, so the role was slightly different, I think, to last week. But at the end of the day, I think he's solid best 22. I don't see him as a sub candidate. There was a little bit of talk that originally why he was subbed is just so we could get a good ground view of how they actually play the system. Not too sure about that, but I'm hopefully hanging on to that and hoping that's the case. But is it a failed pick? I don't think we can say that yet. We're still making coin. He's still got the opportunity to put a really decent score in to add to that 119 in the same cycle to give us a really nice early cash boost, but hopefully he can make 150+ K in the next month or two. Sexton, this was absolutely shocking, particularly when I've got Cad as there for 90. And the reason why I selected Cadman at the start was his great early draw, so I really should have followed my gut there and brought Cadman on. But apart from that, pretty much made all the good rookie choices this week. Sexton, there was one stage here where he gave, so it was in the back line and it was a kick out, just a blind sort of a kick, turnover, and then he gave a 50-metre penalty away. I think it was Vandermeer that gave him a little bit of heat when he disposed of the ball, but silly act from Sexton, big points lost there, and that really just set the tone. After that, he was actually moved into the forward line for a while, so not great there. There was even a write-up about him on AFL.com during the week. I thought, here we go. I'm actually going to start this bloke on field over Cadman. It was that article that got me, but at the end of the day, things just didn't work out there for him. But with Cadman, a 90 was fantastic. And I tell you what, some icing on the cake right on the siren with that specky. I think it was his third goal that he nailed right there on the siren. So spectacular from him. And he has done more than what I expected him to do. Going to make some really nice coin. I'm not trading him out this week. Going to hold on to him, hopefully until he maxes out, and then bring in another another downgrade option. And Darcy Wilson. So a potential play here I was looking at as well, bit of a sneaky one. And shout out to my man Cadda for actually bringing this one up in the Swordplay potty in the mailbag section, was to actually put the emergency on Darcy Wilson. If he goes really good, potentially trade in Harry McKay a week early, because he's got a really low break even coming up against, is it North, I think, this week, where he could get another decent score. Similar to a Hogan play, I suppose. But yeah, 59 wasn't fantastic, but he's just doing what he has to do at the moment. So that is the side. Where are the holes? So let's go back right here. So we've got Dacos with a 54. Now, lots of people could trade him. What are we looking at? A break even of 167. So it's a play. We know that he's got Finn, but not for me. He's a clear keeper. I'm just going to hold on to him. Now, I've got Sheasel there, not going to go. This is very concerning. A break even of 165, Hayden Young. He's projected to go 78. And the way that he's been playing, I'd probably agree with the projection around the 75 to 80 mark. Even I could be being generous there. So he is a massive, massive concern for me. Williams isn't, so he'll stay. Howes isn't. Hoare, I'm just going to keep at the moment. He's a healthy rookie in my back line, so I'm not complaining. These two blokes, so what do? I'm most likely just going to keep on to Reed, because he's a really important part of their defensive setup when fit. So hopefully in 5 weeks he can come back. Ideally, you just love to move him on to rookie that's actually playing and going to make coin, and then you could even look to trade him back in. But I just don't think I'll have that luxury. Caulfield, now, again, I'm not too sure on the timeline here, but he's the most likely one out of the two that I'll look to trade. So Caulfield, very likely trade, and Young, very likely trade. Midfield, so Bont, Green, Butters, fine. Wines is someone I would love to move on. We'll see what happens there. Jordan, no. These guys are absolutely fine. Berry is another one that I would love to move on. So that's already 4 that I would love to trade out this week. I've only got 3 with a boost. Reed is fine. Clark, I'm just going to leave for now. Hopefully with those injuries, he can continue to pump out 60s, be a bit of a slow burn, as we said. Gorn will stay. Grundy is another one that I would love to get rid of, so that's 5. Stay. 6 in Hogan. He's got to go. Hopefully his body right, but let's just say stay. 6 and 5 now, stay. So what do we actually look to do here? I don't think Grundy is my biggest concern along with Wines. I would say that Young is a bigger concern. Hogan was always going to be a bit of a quick flip. He's not playing this week, so I would like to get that extra score on field if possible. And you've probably got to get rid of Nick Caulfield. So at this stage, they're going to be the 3 of the guy I get rid of. And here we go. I will reveal the cash in the bank. So it's pretty healthy at the moment, 196k. And in order to make some extra moves this week, and I pretty much knew that I was going to use a boost, I did want an extra cash injection. So another reason for that Hogan boost, but 196,400. So that's what I'm actually playing with. Now, there are so many blokes that I want to bring into this side. This is already gone for way longer, this review. But all right, so let's get Hayden Young out. I just want him out of the side, and that break even, it's too risky for me. It's just too risky. I'd love to just hold on to him, but I don't think I can. Caulfield, I think, has to go. And then it's probably going to be Jesse Hogan. So out we go, Hogs. And I'll want a midfielder at this stage in for him, so I'll just use some DPP with Jordan there. So 1,313,000. We'll look at these blokes here. Now, we'll look at defenders first of all. Now, there's going to be a really obvious one to get in here, and that's going to be Massimo. Now, this is a killer. I actually put a tweet out before I boosted for Jesse Hogan and said, is it worth boosting early for Massimo? Is he going to be a must-have? And I think it was about 68% said no, wait the week. And what was it? Must have been 32% that said go for it. And I listened to the crowd here. Again, I make my own decisions. I'm not blaming anyone here. My gut feel anyway, I must admit, was to wait the week. But the right move, without doubt, would have been to boost for Massimo instead. But he's such a no-brainer for me. One of the lowest break-evens, if not the lowest in the game at the moment. So at 224K, given the fact that I've got so many holes in my defense, I think that I've just got to bring him in. So that leaves me with still over $1 million, and I've got to probably bring in another premium defender. Now, the defender that I would love to bring in is Luke Ryan. If I bring Luke Ryan in, I've only got 476K. Now, a pod move that I could look to make, and not many people, I don't think, would look to do this, would be to chuck Jordan back in and get a bloke in by the name of Tom Powell. So this bloke's on fire, got a really good role there at the moment, plenty of CBAs, and we know what his talent's like. Is he going to be a season-long keeper, though? I'm just not too sure. I'm not really confident. That gives me 164K in the bank. It's a nice little amount, but am I willing to do it? I just don't know. I'm going to get him out. What I originally would have loved to be able to do is to trade in Jack Steele. I can't do that. He's 529K. Is he a must-have? I don't know. But when I was watching Jack Steele, after the first quarter, I thought he's a must-trade for me this week. He's looking like the Steele of old, and I'm not purchasing a questionable player anymore. I'm purchasing the Jack Steele that I know and love. But if I get Luke Ryan, I can't do that. So that's a bit of a problem. However, if I went down from someone like a Luke Ryan and I went for an Isaiah Wanganeen Millera, then that's a move that I could make. Oh, could I get Sarong? No, I can't. 621, but I could certainly get Jack Steele there. And that will leave me, with 83K. So Young, Caulfield, Hogan, D'Ambrosio, Wanganeen, Millera, and Steele. Now, Wanganeen, Millera, a 101, the 120 odd. This bloke just looks so sublime. I started him last year because I really rated him. I think I was a year early, but the backstages of 2023, he looked great as well. But I think he's almost gone to another level. His footy IQ and his skill set is just off the charts. The kicks that he bites off and decides to take, they're no flukes. He just does everything with silk and great class, this man. However, am I that confident that he's going to be a top 6 defender? Probably not. So if I take him out of the equation, I've got 559. It's just not quite enough. One of those real primo guys. You could go your Elliot Yos, who again is tempting, but when I've had so many defensive injuries already, I've had 3 within 2 weeks. Am I really going to go Elliot Yo? Believe me, I'm so tempted, and I'd really, really love to. I would love to, but I think I need to play this. I need to play this in a more sensible way. So I don't think it can be Yo. Look, I could get Berry out, Massimo, and then go up to a Sarong if I really wanted to. That's an option. All right, so let's get Jack Steele out. The other bloke, oh, sorry, I can't spell right. And this one hurts because I had him in my side over Ollie Wines for so long, and it's Matt Crouch. Now, the difference between Crouch and Steele, and it sounds a bit funny because we're averaging basically the same, is that I actually view Steele as more of a keeper than Crouch, funnily enough. I don't know why that is, but I've just got a feeling that Crouch could be a bloke that you'd need to move on again. Hey, in current form, he's an absolute keeper, and at worst, you're M8, M7 pushing that. But I'm just not too sure going forward. Dawson isn't in great form. Laird's actually playing okay. So does this continue? I'm really not too sure. If you look at Dawson's dream team to SuperCoach, it's a lot better there. So there may be hope for Jordan Dawson still. But I do like the Crouch pick. And the other thing with bringing Crouch into the side is that I was really keen on him pre-season. So it almost is going with some of that preseason research and the gut feel going into the season as well. So that's another plus. And this is just a personal for me with Matt Crouch. Now, that leaves me with 597 in the back line. And it does give me access to one bloke who I've been keen on, and that's obviously Mr. Dan Houston. So I could bring in Dan Houston. I'd have just enough money there. The other bloke that I'd love to bring in is obviously Tommy Stewart. I don't have enough money there. So at this stage, Young, Caulfield, and Hogan out. So Young, I just think is a fake primo with a break even that's through the roof and an average that is extremely mediocre. Caulfield is a must trade out, given the fact that he's got that shoulder injury, going to be out for a while, and we just need coverage back there. And Hogan was always going to be a quick flip, given the fact that that 60 odd now is now in his system. He's still got the 165 I know, and I know he's still going to make some cash. He just didn't pan out for me. Hey, mistake. I made a mistake. It is what it is, but I just don't see him as any type of keeper, and he's not going to make what I wanted him to anyway. So I don't think they're going to be fantastic picks moving forward. And the blokes I'm bringing in, I've got D'Ambrosio, who I said is an absolute must-have. He's going to make some really quick cash and be a good on-field scorer. Don't absolutely love the role, given the fact it's more of a wing role, but he's playing it to perfection at the moment, and you can't deny what he's been doing. So I think he's going to be a great selection. Houston is another one of those preseason research type guys that I was so keen on, but just couldn't fit him in. But given the fact I need a defender now, he is probably the one that fits the bill. Great buy. I would like a Luke Ryan over him, but I think he's a great second, third type option, apart from Stewart as well. And then Matt Crouch, you'd love Jack Steele here. But again, I think that he's a very good compromise. So in an ideal world, it would be D'Ambrosio, Steele, and Ryan. But Houston and Crouch, I'm still okay with. And maybe it's meant to be 4,800 in the bank. What this does mean is that I miss out on the Jeremy Sharps. I miss out on the Jack Carrolls. I miss out on the Dempseys as well. So is that something that I should prioritize? Maybe instead of the Crouch, should I simply even go your Carroll here, your Dempsey even? Because Dempsey's looking like a good pick. And then you could upgrade this one again to your Luke Ryan from Dan Houston. So it could look like for Ryan, geez. It could look like potentially that there. But a Jack Carroll, I think you're just missing too many points. Even with the Dempsey, I think you're missing too many points. There's ways that I could go with Sarong here. So Sarong 467. I don't think that that's actually going to be enough, is it? Players I can afford. So Sam Collins, Ireland, Salem, Florent, Himmelberg, Buckley. I tell you what, there's two pods that I was considering. I was talking to a couple of the boys about. One's Jordan Clark. Could you go the 2 Freo boys? I tell you what, he's been playing well, Clark. Super pod option, but I think probably a little bit too dangerous. And potentially even more dangerous than Clark is Kane Farrell. So he's averaging 103, taking the kick-outs, distributor. I think he'll have a couple of shots on goal each game. Goes around for that sneaky handball, and even on the run can go from 65 out. So he's got access to goals that many other players wouldn't have simply because of the length of his boot. But again, it would just be so ballsy, wouldn't it? Going like a D'Ambrosio, Farrell, and a Sarong, because let's be honest, I've used 2 boosts already. Well, I would have, and I've used 6 trades. So I really need to be focusing on bringing season-long keepers here. and your Farrell just isn't that for me. Again, you could argue that your Crouch isn't, your Houston is, so I'm still getting a Sarong keeper here, along with your Farrell, who's a stretcher maybe. Sarong is another one of those preseason research type guys. Look, I think what I'm just going to do for now is I'm going to go with this combo here. So I'll get Matt Crouch in there, I think, complete trades. So look, there are so many other things that I could look to do. I'm so tempted to even just say go down from a D'Ambrosio type pick. Down from a Young to a D'Ambrosio, get a pink in there, and then upgrade from a Grundy to an English, because I think English this week in particular, his ceiling is going to be through the roof. But for now, we will get Houston on field. So all of a sudden, the back line is looking so much more solid. You've got Houston there instead of Young, and then you've got D'Ambrosio. Williams comes back onto the field, so only playing one defensive rookie at the moment. I'm not really counting D'Ambrosio and Williams as rookies at this stage, so that's looking a lot better there. All these guys will be available this week, so we'll have 6 there, which is handy. In the midfield, so Bont, Green, Butters, Crouch, Wines I don't love. Other 4 looking really good. Rookies are good. Berry I'll most likely deal with next week, because I think Sam Darcy is going to be an absolute must-have. So most likely the plan next week will be to, let's just say, get Fife into the midfield, Berry up here, and then make that trade there to a Darcy potentially. Could even be a Sexton. I'm not too sure. We'll see how things pan out, but not a fan of Berry, and I'll be able to hopefully make some cash there on him when I downgrade him as well. But again, it's another trade. Damn, what will be down to? That'll be down to like 33 all of a sudden, so not looking fantastic there. But Green, look, I'll probably loop him. So what's the order of the game? So Berry is nice and early on. So yeah, that'll probably be it there. So I'll loop Berry. If he gets a decent score somehow, look, will he even get selected? Will he start as sub? I really don't know. But if he's selected in the starting 22, then I'll loop him. Obviously have Green on there, not trading Green, as you know. And then Reed can come on if he's no good. Grundy and Gawn will both stay there. Okay, so we've got Wilson will simply come on for Sexton. Sorry, what have I done there? So I'll still have 22 players to choose from in a best 18 week. Now, the fact that I've moved on Hogan. And that's pretty much how I'm going to set up. Now, captains, vice captains, before I get to the open $100 cash league results or leaderboard for this week, we've got Brisbane Collingwood. So do you go Nicky D early on? There's a bit of a comeback game, possibly. Don't know if we'll put too much pressure on him. North, don't really have anyone captain worthy apart from Sheasel. No. Dogger in form against Rob. Maybe, probably not though. Eston St Kilda. Butters against Melbourne. Potentially. Bont versus West Coast, right. So you've got to have him in your combo. Sydney, Richmond, Hawthorn, Geelong. So you've got Saturday night, 7:30 into the Sunday, which matches up with West Coast. Yep, so for me, I think I'm just going to go Zachary Butters into the Bont. Now, the Bont did look a little bit sore, but look, against West Coast, he could be on one leg and have a broken arm and probably still get a 130. So I do like Bont there, and he is projected for a 150 score. So that's probably how I'm going to line up this week. And these two are out. Grundy, yes. Yep, I think that's pretty much it, guys. Now, let's have a quick look at the open $100 league, because I did say every round review that I would check out the leaderboard there. Got 65 participants. So what am I? 21 out of 65. So just hang in there in the top third. But we currently have, all right, call my lawyer, Izzy, with 4451, if you don't mind, 94 for an overall rank. Who invited you into the league, Izzy? Well done, mate. That is absolutely fantastic. I've got Vic Star 726 for an overall rank. Well done there. Jokers 2582, the Big Lebowski 3457, Albert Alexis Brendan 5565, Freeherd 5936, Tragic Bronson 7686. Well done to you, mate. Big H, mate. You've been saying that your team's no good. Look at you in the top 10K there, brother. Going all good at the moment, 8025. Sharp Dress Man, my man, Damo from the Footy Mailbag, 9051, also in the top 10K. And I tell you what, it seems like you have to be in the top 10K rank to have a top 10 position in the $100 Open League this year so far. It's a Blue Ballers with Rob there, 9962. So congrats to everyone that's currently in the top 10. Currently, the money is going to Izzy, Vic, and Steve, top 1 to 3. Congratulations, guys. You are killing it at the moment. So that is it for this week's round review, guys. I hope that you are going well at the moment. If you're not, don't be afraid to be aggressive. Don't be afraid to use some of those boosts. Now, my plan was always to be much more aggressive than my usual style going into this year. So, hey, I may run out of trades early, but I'm not going to go dying wishing here. I'm going to give it everything to try to get a nice early top rank and hopefully crack into the top 100 this year. That's my aim. If not, try to win the whole thing. I think that's going to be a little bit of a stretch, but who knows? I'm keeping the faith for now. So stay tuned for the Swordplay podcast. We're going to get together Tuesday night for that. And I'm going to get on to the stock market nice and early this week. I've got my round review out of the way on the Sunday night. So I'll try to spend a little bit of Monday night getting organized for that. And my big aim this week is to have it out Wednesday morning. Fingers crossed I can do that, because I tell you what, this will be the biggest one for the year. As I've already said, I'll be reviewing over 150 individual players with detailed notes on every one of those blokes, with the break evens, with the trade ins, with the trade outs. You'll see it all in this week's Stocky. So take care for now, guys, and I'll see you soon in the next one. Cheers. Bye.